Hey guys, Billy Sticker here. Today we're going to be going over the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I definitely think you do need this book, but I've got to say there's some things in there that are weird. I do not agree with all of it. However, I think there's enough good in it that you should read it for yourself and pull out what you think you can apply. So let's get on. I mean, most of you have heard of this book. This one says, well, I thought it would say how many millions have sold, but this has been in print forever, and a lot of people do refer to it. So I do think it's one you need in your library. As far as application, I would give it a 5. I think there's a lot of things in there that you can go ahead and apply to your life right now. As far as ease of read and the style, I'm going to give it a 3. It's not as difficult as some books, but it's not near as easy as a lot of books that are out there today. They're a lot easier to read. So his style is a little bit different. And as far as learning, other stuff from him, if there was other programs out there by him, would I get them? I'm going to give it a 3. Maybe, maybe not. I do think there's some really good stuff in there. There's some weird stuff in there too, and I don't know. But overall, let's see, that's what, a 13. Is that right? No, 5, 3, 8, 3. No, that's an 11. A score of an 11. So out of 15 points, getting an 11. I do think you need it and should read it. But anyway, that's my review of the book. Now what we're going to do is take the last half of the video, and I'm going to go through some of the things that I went ahead and pulled out and thought were applicable to my own life. Hey guys, Billy Sticker here, and today we're going over the book Think and Grow Rich. So let's get started on some of the stuff that's applicable in the book. Up here, first he talks about desire. Let me back up a little bit. Think and Grow Rich. Thoughts are things. That's one of the main premises through the whole book, is thoughts aren't just something that's out there, it's actually a thing. I definitely agree with that. Remember I said earlier, some of the things in the book I don't agree with, but let's go through it. Desire. Obviously this is very important. He's got 13 steps on here. Number 1 is desire. You've got to have deep desires, deep goals. What is it you really, really want out of life? So hands down, that is very important. Second thing he talks about is faith. Now in the book, he's not saying faith in God. He's talking about more faith in the future, having this belief that the future holds something better for you. Now, as a Christian, I look at that as hope, faith in the future. Jeremiah 29:11 says, God knows the plans He has for us, plans to give us, to prosper us, not to harm us, to give us hope, to give us a future. And so that's kind of how I apply that. And there's a few times in here I add scriptures. He doesn't have scriptures in the book, but that's stuff that I added because that's who I am. The third thing is auto-suggestion. Now, here at first I thought this was a little bit weird. Mainly he's talking about once you know what you want, thinking about it all the time, over and over and over, repeating it to yourself over and over and over again. And I've got to agree with a lot of that. It's kind of like cramming for a test. When you're studying for a test, you take that information and you go over it and over it and over it to make sure that it gets in there. And so that's kind of what he's talking about doing with your goals and with your desires. Romans 12:2 says that we need to be transformed, not conformed to this world, but transformed by the renewing of our mind. So I do agree with that. Number 4, specialized knowledge. You've got to have something. If you really want to grow rich and grow and be successful, you have to have some kind of specialized knowledge. Not just general knowledge, but something specialized, some kind of niche. Whenever I was in the oil field, I remember meeting a man one time, and he made the comment that if you want to be successful in life, you either need to get a degree or learn a trade. And I was young at the time, we just got married, but that's something that always stuck with me, and that's what he talks about here. Education is important. Whether you go to college or whether books like this you read to make yourself better, you've got to have a specialized knowledge in some type of field, in something that you're interested in. Brian Tracy talks about knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill, knowledge and skill. You've always got to be learning more and getting better, learning more and getting better. So that's what that talks about. Number 5 is imagination, which is obviously great. Your creativity, being able to take an idea and from that idea turn it into something concrete. I mean, look around you. Everything that we come in contact with every day started as an idea. So very important. Number 6, organized planning. You've got to plan your work. You've got to work your plan. Nehemiah 8:10 says, you've got to write the vision down so that you can take it and run with it. So you've got to plan out your goals, your desires, your action steps to be successful. Number 7 is being able to make decisions. He talks in here about how you can't be wishy-washy. Whenever it comes time to make a decision, successful people are decisive. They're quick to make a decision and then slow to change their mind on that decision. And so once you make that decision, you need to stick with it. You need to commit. You need to see it through. So that's number 7. And it kind of ties right in with number 8, persistence. Staying on that path. Whenever you're on the path, when you have your goals and your knowledge and your plan, and you're sticking onto that plan, you've got to stay on that path. There's another good book by Andy Stanley called The Principle of the Path, and he refers to, the yellow brick road in The Wizard of Oz. When you're on that road, that's your path. You've just got to stay on it. It leads to Oz. There's nowhere else that road leads as long as you're on that road. So whenever you have your plan, stay on that road. It may take you a while to get there, but stay on that path. Be persistent. Don't quit. Never, never give up. Galatians 6:9 says that, we will reap if we faint not. So don't give up. Keep on going. Number 9 is mastermind. He talks about using smart people, finding people in your life that you trust, that have succeeded, that you really admire, look up to, and get advice from these people. Be coachable to learn from other people. Have a mastermind, a board of directors, if you will, that you can go to and bounce ideas off of and learn from. Proverbs 15:22 just talks about that, a plan without counsels normally fails, but whenever you have advice of many, you find success. So this one is one of those weird chapters. He talks about sex transmutation, which is really weird chapter. Basically in here what he's talking about is the sex drive that we all have, being able to tap into that instead of for our desire for sex, our desire for success. Kind of tap into that energy and use it towards achieving our goals. So that's one of those weird chapters that's in there. Number 11, the subconscious mind. Whenever we have negative thoughts about our goals and dreams and desires and plans, the negative thoughts basically tells our subconscious mind that it's a waste of time. We don't need to be doing it because we're not going to achieve it anyway, or whatever the negative stuff that gets in there. But whenever you're thinking positive things, that gets us closer. When you're thinking positive thoughts about your goals, dreams, plans, that the way God created us is this subconscious draws us closer. Psycho-Cybernetics, that book, talks about how we were created with a success mechanism inside of us where, God created us to want to be successful and to self-correct along the way. But anyway, it talks a lot about this also. Number 12, the brain. This is another one of those weird chapters. It talks about these intangible forces and signals that we need to be able to pick up on. Anyway, read that one for yourself. Number 13, he calls the Sixth Sense. Another different kind of chapter. Basically, he talks a lot about meditating in this chapter. Sitting back and relax, and the things about meditating. And I know for this, one of the scriptures that came to my mind when I was going over this chapter is Philippians 4:8. Where the Bible says that we need to, whatever's pure, noble, good, trustworthy, all these positive things, we need to think on these things. Not the negative stuff, but keep our minds full of the good and positive things. So anyway, I definitely think that this is a book you need for your library. Some of the stuff in there I disagree with, but there's a lot of stuff that I think is pretty good. So, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Till next time, thanks.